Welcome to the Health Rant of the Week, episode 23. My name is Alejandro Flores, certified fitness and nutrition coach with Altus Fitness. Today's episode is titled The Least Common of Senses. So my inspiration for today's video is, I swore to myself that I wasn't going to be talking about the whole pandemic anymore, but things are getting to a point where, it's challenging common sense. And that is, of course, why the title, right? So this is the outdoor edition, in case you haven't noticed yet. I saw an article and actually reposted that article from Mike Mutzel on my Facebook page. Once again, the CDC in the US, the Center for Disease Control, just posting or publishing or contradicting information on what's safe and not safe. This one in particular was about how the mask has been told, and everyone around is doing their best to protect their health against COVID-19 by wearing a mask that is, they're talking about the textile, right? So just the homemade, fabric ones. CDC basically, as far as I understand, cleared people to use those in order to gain some protection against the virus, all right? But on the flip side, with all the forest fires that have been happening in California, CDC came out and said, those non-sterile or fabric or reusable, non-reusable fabric-based masks don't protect against smoke. I don't know if that alone is already starting to make you wonder and go like, oh, what? All right, so but the cool thing about it is that he went the extra step and pointed out that according to the information that you get from CDC, virus, especially this one, I believe, is the size is about 70 nanometers, whereas a smoke particle is about 1 micron, being 1 micrometer, which is the micron is the abbreviation to that. Now, again, this is not necessarily simple math because we're talking about units that people are not familiar with. However, if the micron is a bigger unit or a bigger size than a nanometer, how come a device that is meant to protect you against a virus that is so much smaller, it's not protecting you against smoke? That's my real concern. I don't know how much this is. Maybe it's a matter of not intellect, is knowledge, because they're talking about things that people don't necessarily deal with every day, or information that they may not know firsthand. But I'm pretty sure that if someone asked you that, what's smaller, a virus or a small particle, I don't know, maybe you would have an idea, or you would go and look it up and not just take it at nominal value. At the same token, I need to remind you of CDC, the Center for Disease Control, has been openly and officially loose in tracking the number of illnesses and deaths from coronavirus, and that's public information. And yet, when you see still today, I'm going to tell you something that it kind of made me a little concerned on top of everything that I'm talking about. But anyways, so the up-to-date numbers on the reported number of cases for COVID-19 is slightly over 27 million, all right, worldwide. Whereas the CDC, so this first number is from the World Health Organization, and the CDC, that is, as I said, a little more loose in the criteria that they use to track, reported the H1N1 numbers as 56 million for the same time, for the same period. All right, so granted, the number of confirmed deaths is different. Now, one thing that actually caught my attention is that the first time I checked, and if you remember, I posted a video about this, I want to say it was May, and where the World Health Organization mentioned that the average number of deaths from H1N1 was worldwide was about 600,000. For this year, or for 1 year, for COVID-19 has been 904,000 confirmed deaths. However, I tried to find the same statistics for the H1N1 now, like maybe 3 months later, and they're pretty hard to be found. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because like the focus has been shifted drastically to the COVID, and that's probably why, on Google at least, I couldn't even find like the WHO in the first page at all. It's all CDC, or is it maybe that those stats are a little tainted, or I don't know. Just call me whatever you want, right? But again, like those stats were like up, like front and centered 3 months ago if you wanted to look for the H1N1, and now they're not. Like you really have to search a little more if you want to find them. And I'm starting to think that not only is it more relevant because we're calling, so this is a pandemic, whereas the other one has more reported cases in like similar time, periods, like twice as many, over twice as many actually. The deaths are less. However, now it's being called a pandemic. 3 or 4 months ago, there was not so many, or not so much mentioning of the H1N1 being the pandemic. So I don't know. I mean, it almost feels like the metrics are the same, the criteria is not necessarily the same, or it feels like there's kind of like a gray area where you can at will like manipulate some of those stats. Not saying that one is worse or more deadly than the other, but again, there's got to be a reason why before you would be able to find, like, front and center the H1N1 numbers, and now not so much because of COVID. And on top of that, you add like the really weird, at least that's my perception, the really weird campaign, the one of the IT guys, most relevant IT guys in the world, you know who I'm talking about, is pushing so hard for a vaccine on this. I don't know. I mean, once again, I don't think this is a matter of intellect. I do think it's a matter of maybe common sense or a little bit of knowledge, and that's why we are being told like confusing informations to our face, and most people are not even reading through the lines. I don't know, draw your own conclusions. My name is Alejandro Flores, certified fitness and nutrition coach with Altus Fitness. I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.